It began like any ordinary morning. But then I saw it, an envelope placed neatly on the kitchen counter. My name written across the front in his unmistakable handwriting. At first, I assumed it was just a note. Maybe he'd left early for work or gone to check in on his mother. But the moment I touched it, something twisted deep in my stomach. It wasn't just a note. I felt it in my chest, a strange heaviness, like the silence around me had turned into something alive. There were small signs everywhere. His shoes were gone from the entryway. The bed hadn't been made. The absence of his usual presence made everything louder, more hollow. As I stood there, the envelope trembling slightly in my grasp, I already knew. This wasn't going to be simple. It felt final, like the quiet stillness that comes before a storm breaks. I opened it slowly, my fingers barely cooperating. Just 2 words sat at the top of the page, and they took the air from my lungs. Goodbye, Emmer. The rest unfolded like a mirror turned toward me. Not his confession, but mine. His words weren't angry. They were calm, honest, devastating. He wrote that he had known for some time. Ever since the night I came home with someone else's cologne clinging to my clothes. I told him I'd been working late. That lie was the beginning. He saw the signs. The whispered phone calls in the other room. The sudden need for showers. The girls' nights that weren't what I claimed. He hadn't been blind to it. He had seen through it all. But he hadn't said a word. That was the part that shattered me the most. He gave me time, space, a chance to tell the truth. He hoped I would. And I never did. He said he watched me turn into someone unfamiliar. Every day chipped away at what we had, until all that was left was emptiness. He said he didn't hate me. That hurt more than anything else. If he had been furious, if he'd shouted or blamed me, I could have taken it. It would have felt like something I deserved. But instead, his words were quiet and steady, full of pain that had simmered too long. He loved me enough to walk away, because staying would have destroyed the both of us. And right then, I understood the full weight of what I had done. I crumpled to the floor, the letter shaking in my hands as sobs broke free. More than guilt. It was the realization that I had destroyed something real, something solid, for nothing. I had been blind, selfish, chasing moments that meant nothing, while tearing apart the person who meant everything. He wasn't just a partner. He was the man who remembered how I liked my coffee, who rubbed my shoulders when I was stressed, who folded laundry when I forgot, who kissed my forehead every single night. He noticed everything but never made a scene. He gave quietly, loved deeply, without ever demanding anything in return. And I had taken him for granted. I tried reaching out. I called. No answer. I texted, emailed, drove to his office, but he was gone. He'd taken a leave. That's when I knew this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment reaction. He had planned this with care. Not out of anger, but heartbreak. He needed distance. From me, from the life we had shared. The days that followed blurred together. I couldn't stop reliving every small moment I had dismissed. The way he lingered in doorways, waiting for me to speak. The nights he watched me but said nothing. The mornings he asked, "Are you okay?" And I lied. I held on to the hope that maybe, eventually, he'd come back. That we'd talk, mend things. But weeks turned into months. And word finally came from mutual friends. He had moved to a quiet town and started over. He never spoke ill of me, just said things didn't work out. When I finally wrote him back, I didn't try to justify anything. I didn't make excuses. I told him the truth. That I had been wrong. That I had loved him. That I destroyed something beautiful because I didn't know how to handle something real. He never replied. And I didn't expect him to. He had already said goodbye. That letter still lives in a drawer I rarely open. Folded neatly, untouched. A painful reminder, not just of what I lost, but of what love, true love, really looks like.